Standing in front of a modern specialty coffee shelf can feel less like buying a morning beverage and more like trying to decipher a chemistry textbook. You drop 100,000 rupiah or more on a bag of premium beans, take them home, and brew a cup that either makes your face pucker from sourness or hits you with an overwhelming wave of ash and bitterness. The immediate reaction is to blame the grinder, the brewing technique, or even assume the roaster made a mistake. But the beans aren't defective. Your equipment is fine. The core issue is a mismatch of expectations. You paid top dollar for a flavor profile engineered perfectly for someone else's palate, instead of your own. Getting the right cup at home requires ignoring the marketing hype. You just need to align your expectations with 3 specific variables printed right on the bag: tasting notes, roast level, and roast date. First, look closely at the tasting notes. When a bag says jasmine or chocolate, the roaster hasn't pumped artificial syrups into the coffee. These words describe the inherent genetic traits and the specific soil conditions where the coffee grew. If you pick up Arabica beans with notes like berries, citrus, or floral sweetness, you are getting a highly complex, natural sugar profile directly from the original coffee cherry. But that sweetness demands a strict compromise. That specific Arabica profile inherently carries a high acidity. It will taste bright and sharp on the tongue. If you expect a traditional, comforting cup, this acidity will register as unpleasantly sour. On the other side of the spectrum, you have beans, very often Robusta, labeled with notes of earth, roasted nuts, or dark chocolate. The trade-off here is entirely different. You lose the bright, complex sweetness. In return, you gain a heavy, satisfying body, that thick mouthfeel, and a significantly higher dose of caffeine. Ignoring these notes leads to mismatched expectations. If you attempt to brew a thick, traditional tubruk using a delicate floral Arabica, you will be disappointed every single time. Decoding tasting notes serves as your ultimate filter. It forces you to choose upfront between a bright, acidic adventure and a heavy, comforting classic. The second variable is the roast level. This single metric determines the ratio between the bean's original flavor and the flavor created by the fire itself. This visual progression shows how heat physically and chemically alters the bean. They start as pale green, losing moisture and expanding as the temperature rises. Stopping the process early results in a light roast. This minimal heat exposure protects the delicate fruit and floral compounds specific to the geography of that coffee. The compromise for a light roast is a lighter, tea-like body, and if a beginner grinds these beans too fine or brews with water that isn't hot enough, the resulting cup becomes severely sour. Pushing the roast longer into the dark territory burns away those fragile original characteristics. The fire replaces them with familiar, bold, and bitter flavors. The absolute trade-off here is stark. A dark roast guarantees a strong, heavy kick, but it completely incinerates the unique, expensive origin notes you paid a premium for. Selecting a roast level is a strict zero-sum game. You consciously sacrifice body to preserve uniqueness with a light roast, or you sacrifice authenticity to get boldness from a dark roast. The third variable is the roast date. Coffee is not a non-perishable grocery item. It is a fresh agricultural product, and its volatile compounds begin degrading the moment it leaves the roaster. This thick bloom shows the release of essential oils and trapped gases. The peak window for extracting this flavor is 1 to 2 weeks post-roast. Chasing this peak freshness means abandoning the convenience of buying in bulk. Stocking up on a 3-month wholesale supply guarantees your last few dozen cups will taste flat and stale. This brings up the coffee storage dilemma and the need to abandon the persistent myth that keeping coffee in the refrigerator extends its life. Taking beans in and out of a cold fridge creates sudden temperature shifts. This instantly causes condensation, and that moisture permanently destroys the bean's flavor integrity. The correct protocol is simple. Buy small batches and transfer them immediately from their commercial bags into airtight, dark ceramic containers. You can perfectly calibrate your tasting notes and roast level, but if you allow the beans to go stale or damp, the effort is useless. Freshness is the final multiplier of quality. Avoiding a disappointing cup of coffee requires looking past aesthetic packaging and using the data on the label to drive your purchase. Let's map your specific scenario in this matrix so you know exactly what to look for. If you dislike bitterness and actively want to taste natural sweetness, you fall into the modern drinker column. Your shopping list is strict. Prioritize Arabica beans, hunt for fruity or floral notes, and strictly select light to medium roasts. If you need a heavy caffeine kick and love a thick mouthfeel, shift your focus to the classic column. Ignore the fruit notes entirely. Seek out Robusta or specific Arabicas with chocolate, nutty, or earthy profiles, and choose medium to dark roasts. The universal rule that applies to both columns, no matter which spectrum you choose, never buy more coffee than you can consume in exactly 14 days. A consistently great cup of coffee at home is never an accident. It is the result of a deliberate, informed purchase.